England. How's it going, guys?
Oh, yeah, very well. Yourself?
Doing great. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Let's dive right into it. So, how did you guys form?
Form. This is probably a question for me. It was 2019, late summer, I believe. I used to frequent bars in town, and there was a guy there that I knew who would normally be there. Really good pianist, good guitarist as well. And I joked about it a few times, and he was like, "Nah, definitely not." And then we started thinking about other people that could possibly in this imaginary band. That was not going to happen until one day the guitarist went to a show and got so inspired that he just made this WhatsApp group and said, "Shall we give it a go?" And because we were up for it anyway, that's basically how it formed. So it's just people that knew each other, really. So that's the basis. Yeah.
Interesting. Right to the point. Now,
Mm.
any of the other stuff, just keeping it simple and just right to the point. I like it. So, you guys released Skin and Chrome in December. How's the response been to it?
Been pretty good so far.
Yeah.
I think the
I'd like
thing
to
we were
think
worried
so.
about the most was that with me joining, it would sound different and some people wouldn't be used to that. But since it's come out, I think we've received nothing but positive feedback, and it's been doing well.
Mm.
How would you say the response to this song compares to the previous stuff?
I suppose I have more of an idea of how to answer because Amy wasn't around with the previous releases. So the previous releases, a lot of our close friends and family were very pleasantly surprised, which is nice. You know, they I suppose they didn't think it would sound as professional as it did, but that's what we aim for. We try and record it professionally so it sounds that way. But I think better actually, and it's just because people have been it's quieter this time around. They haven't really explained that how much they've liked it until I've bumped into them. Whereas before they used to message me. So it's really different. Obviously they're used to us being a band now, so they don't go, "Oh, nice song again." They basically bump into me and say, "That your best song you've done today." And that's really nice. And it's so I think it's the feedback's been better personally that I've noticed anyway.
That's really
Mm.
sick. I mean, personally, it would make me feel like putting in all these blood, sweat, and tears is for nothing. Like there's good coming out of it, and it makes it
Mm.
worthwhile in the end.
Mm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right on. So, who do you guys record it with, and how's the process?
We record with a guy called Oz Craigs. He is situated in a seaside town called Folkestone. The place is called Hidden Track Studios. We've gone to him since day dot and probably won't go to anybody else. The way he does his process is just so what we're used to and just so good. The process is mainly turning up, obviously just like any other studio place, getting everything tracked in a few days, and generally just hanging out as we do it, recording our pieces, coming back, revisiting, replaying, and just taking several takes of several things and choosing the best of everything. And it can be vigorous, but it's so worth it as well. You know.
Is this the first time that you guys recorded with this guy, or have you worked with him before?
So many times, yeah. Every song but one, we've worked with him. Yeah, so we're gonna go back to him every time. I think. Scared to go anywhere else. We tried once and it was good, but just not what we used to. So we like our comfort.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? That's what I tell people. Right on. That's awesome. So you guys are from Kent. How's the alternative rock scene there? Do you guys have a favorite local band or favorite venue?
I think it's difficult because I think because we're outside of London, London's like a big music scene, Brighton's big music scene, any of like the cities. In Kent we have Canterbury, which is another little music scene all in of itself. And I think when you're in the community and you're actively participating, you're putting back what you're kind of taking from it. I think that's where the magic kind of happens, and you end up having a lot more networking opportunities, or you just like make some friends who are also in other bands, and you kind of build each other up. I think for venues, I'd probably say you got the Booking Hall in Dover. They've been putting on shows for years, and then Tunbridge Wells Forum also quite good. And then in my hometown, we've got somewhere called used to be called Elsewhere, but now it's called Where Else, and they are an independent little creative hub, and they have a downstairs like gig area, and it's good.
Used to be better when I was younger, I'd say. Like a few years ago, I'm talking maybe 10 years. There was so much more, so many local bands, but everyone did it for fun back then. Nowadays, it's really scarce. Like, there's not many venues going around really anymore. But what is going around is sort of like the undercurrent you have to find, like Amy said, and it is a lot of fun. You just got to know where to look for it.
Yeah, I definitely feel you. And I also feel you on the whole Canterbury thing. Canterbury, when I was over there in 2013, 14, was absolutely sick. Like the city was incredible. And I felt like I was in England, like with the old school churches and buildings. And I went to this venue called the Lady Luck, and that was sick.
Nice, yeah. Still going strong.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes me feel
Yeah.
really good. Definitely gonna have to go back over there and pay it another visit.
Definitely do. Yeah. In fact, the pub opposite, the Black Griffin, is now belongs to our drummer. So you should.
More reason to go over there.
Yeah.
So who would you say your biggest influences are?
Ours are pretty similar, aren't they? So
Yeah, ours are pretty similar. I mean, when I joined the band, I was asked to fill out this little questionnaire about myself, and I said Paramore, Yumi at Six, Holding Absence, those kinds of bands. Like, they're the ones I love.
Absolutely. I've got to agree. Yeah. They're definitely influences for our voices, I think. Those are the people that we sort of listened to a lot growing up. But I do have a fondness for Johnny Craig, like the way he sounds. No matter what people say about him, I think he's got a bad rep, but I really look up to his vocals prowess and how much power he has. So he's one of mine as well.
So here's their $1 million question for you guys. So if you guys could tour with one of those bands, which one?
Oh man. Oh.
It's a difficult question to answer because I've got my realistic side, and then I've got like my in my dreams side.
Would it matter that the music's very different? Because if it wouldn't, then I'd probably do Paramore. If it mattered, then Holding Absence.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, probably Paramore. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really sick getting to tour the world with Hayley Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, just not the other guys.
Yeah, no. I mean, Farrell would be cool, and then Taylor and all those guys would be awesome as well. So can't really go wrong with that.
No.
Absolutely.
So now I'm going to ask you guys some non-music questions. It's a good way for me to get to know you. I did this with the other bands. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right, first one. Favorite book?
Mine was The Knife of Never Letting Go. I have forgotten the author because I read this book because it was given to me by like a teacher who left school, and we were still like in contact. And she gave me this book, and it was just so good. And then it turned out to be 2 more. It was a trilogy. It was excellent.
Very, very different answer from me in the sense of I don't really read. I have been on a continual battle to trying to read because I love it, but I find it very hard to stick to it. I find it very hard to keep it going in the sense of, but what I do like picking up, if it helps, is sort of self-help books. So I'm really into self-betterment and trying to improve. So things like Atomic Habits by James Clear. I started reading that. I've still got that at home. There's a bookmark in quite a few books in my house. So I don't have a favorite, but I love a genre which is self-help, basically.
That's a different answer. I like it. Keeping things interesting. Best holiday that you guys have been on?
Oh,
I say recently, in 2022, me and my family, we went to LA and Vegas. And
wow.
I've been to like Italy before, and that was good, but it was very different going to the US and experiencing like something outside of Europe.
Mm.
It's just the world is so much bigger over there. When you're in the UK, things just feel smaller because everything's like almost closer in size relative to what the US is and compared to the UK. And it was also
Mm.
just things like like the way you guys do things is just so different.
Mm.
It's odd, but it was good.
Good odd. Yeah, I went to, I can't remember where it is, it's somewhere in Spain, I think, but Port Aventura, which is like a huge theme park, which has several themes around the park. That was probably my favorite. It was like living in a different place. It was incredible. Biggest theme park I've ever been to. Fond memories, yeah.
Both sound really good, and it's funny you've been to LA before I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've been to California. I've been to San Fran, and that was cool because my uncle Eric, he lives out there. Now he's in Oakland, and then where else I go? Anaheim, which is outside of LA, but I haven't been to downtown LA. So one of these days, hopefully, I can get out there. But I'm sure it was really eye opening and definitely a little bit of a culture shock.
It was. And the differences between LA and Vegas, even then, Vegas just seemed like its whole little bubble and it
Yeah.
had its own way of doing things. And then in LA it was like so much more calm in a sense. It was just nice.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't been to Vegas either, and that's on my bucket list. But I've heard some pretty good things about it. I've heard it's a little different. I've heard that you kind of have to be like like a certain kind of person to like go there and enjoy it and all that. It's not
I
for
think it
the
depends
faint of
on
heart.
where you're doing.
That's awesome. So if you guys could go back in time and talk to one world leader or person of influence, who would it be?
Robin Williams.
Oh, that's a
I don't know
great
why
show.
that's the first one, but I watched so much of his stuff when I was younger. And my dad was a big favor, not a big favor. He was a big fan of Robin Williams's comedy and just him as a person. And he just seems like he'd be so good to ask questions to. And I wouldn't care what the answer was. I would just like to listen and have the conversation.
That would be sick.
It's a difficult question because there's so many people that have passed over the last 3 years or so as well, which is quite something. But maybe someone who would have known a thing or two. So probably someone like Bob Marley. Sounds crazy, but I think he would be really down to earth, seriously down to earth, and he'd probably knew too much. He was older than his age, I think.
Yeah, that'd be definitely be an interesting one.
Mm.
Can't go wrong with either one. So if you guys had $1 million and you could donate to any charity, which one?
I'm not sure what the charity's called, but forgive me for forgetting, but there's one for lung cancer patients. I think quite a few people die per year who don't even smoke from lung cancer. One of them being one of my best friends. So it would just have to be that because it's close to my heart.
I would probably say some form of cancer research as well, given that I think it was about 2 years back we lost my dad's like best friend since childhood, like really suddenly to cancer. And he had been having like health issues all throughout COVID, but because of the lockdowns, like they cut most treatments and pushed loads of stuff back. And he at that point he was at point of just like they were trying to figure out what was making him sick. And then after like at the end of COVID, they pretty much went bang, you got like a month to live. And it was just a
Wow.
whole big thing. And I think if they'd been able to have the funding and stuff, that it might have maybe made some kind of difference, but you never know. So yeah, cancer research probably.
That's a great one. All right, last question. What are some places in Kent that visitors should check out?
Folkestone is very artsy. It's very colourful, and they've got a lot going on down there. So I would recommend Folkestone and Margate as well, which is again my hometown. I have my own personal opinions of it, but when you're a person who comes to visit, the atmosphere you get is very different, and what you take away can be very different. So if you're into, like, again, art, creative things, then definitely Margate.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, especially Folkestone, because they've got loads of those tankers that have converted to shops on the dock. I would probably say small little town of Sandwich, where supposedly the sandwich was invented. It's a medieval town, so most of the buildings are quite intact. That's a surreal walk around. That's like an old style movie set. And then I'd probably say the English Heritage, which is like a little thing you can join to visit all the castles around Kent. I think there's more yonder, but the ones in Kent are great. There's so many you can go to. You can go to Dover, right on top of the hills, in this huge castle where we actually filmed the music video for Far From Home. And you can go to Warmer, which is just down the road. It's beautiful gardens. They all have something different to offer. It's a great visit.
Well, I'm a sucker for castles and old churches and brick roads and buildings. So when I get back over there, you guys are gonna have to take me to all those places.
Yeah, man. There's one in Deal, so yeah.
I'm a history nerd. I love my history. I love my castles and old stuff and all that. So I would be in heaven.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's loads.
Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on, and the support means a lot to me.
No, our pleasure. Yeah, it's easy, man. We're here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course, it's what I do, and live to serve and serve to live.
It's a good motto, that.
So for the people that are going to watch this later, where can they find your music at?
Quite a few places, all the places you'd expect. So, of course, Spotify, the main one. We have loads of videos on YouTube, and you can also follow us on socials. So we've got Facebook, Instagram, and that's pretty much the main ones. We have a website as well, seekharbour.co.uk. Say again?
Do what the
And
man says. And check it out.
TikTok, yes. I forget that one.
The new song "Skip Room" is absolutely incredible. Definitely recommend it. Check it out and share it with your friends.
We'd appreciate that.
Well, I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll chat soon.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, you too. Have fun at your dad's party.
Oh, I will. Appreciate it. See you later.
See ya.
All right,
Thank you. Thank you.